Good Friday morning, folks. You made it to the weekend. Woohoo! You're watching the main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys, and woo-wee! He's celebrating the Dodgers going to sweep the Brewers today. He came in all jumping around. I made him take off all the Dodgers gear. Dale Hillistrace here, everybody.
Boy, oh boy. You know, I had a coach back in high school who said if you don't have enthusiasm, show false enthusiasm. That's what you got going on today. You ain't never this happy. What happened last night?
ALA Queen Creek. Just a lesson to all the coaches out there. I'm talking to you, Jonathan Gannon. Maybe I'm talking to you, Kenny Dillingham. Yeah, sometimes changes improve things. Let's put it that way. ALA Queen Creek put up 41 points last night on Queen Creek, and it was a blowout. 41. I think it was 41-6. 41-8. It was the final score there.
Okay.
Was it all Max Hall? Is the question. 41-8 is what the final was.
I'm not going to go down that road, Steve.
I'm being sarcastic, people. Don't be all like, Steve's bashing high school people again. But wow, what an offensive showing by them last night. And all I could do was sit there and be like, I don't know. Changes sometimes are for the good, Dale.
Yeah.
And I don't know the situation. I don't know any of it. I've heard both sides of it. But sometimes a change can spark something. Allah, look how good the Bengals looked last night. Change something, guys. And Kenny Dillingham changed something this week with practices.
Try it.
Just try something. Change something. You don't have to be as drastic as getting rid of an offensive coordinator.
No.
You don't have to be as drastic as, whatever else I'm thinking of happening out there.
Trading for a quarterback.
Yeah, trading for a quarterback, a 40-year-old man. Watching Joe Flacco play last night, does that make you go, you know what? I could probably do that again. If somebody called.
I think that you remember I said Flacco's going to come in there, and he's going to have a game or two that's going to make you go, whoa.
Now, it was a Thursday night game. Steelers, to me, were distracted. I said it to Lou yesterday. The head, Tomlin was complaining about who trades in division in the middle of the season. They were worried about that. Their players were complaining about the Pittsburgh turf, where they weren't even playing on this week.
Yep.
And it was I just felt like on a short week that Pittsburgh was paying attention to everything but the Bengals. And I told you, I also said it too. I said Joe Flacco is going to come in and he's going to look good because Joe Flacco ain't running the football. And he knows that offensive line is going to get him hit. So he's going to unload it quickly. And that's exactly what you saw last night. It was beautiful to watch.
Seemed like he threw the ball to Jamar Chase like 14, 15, 16 times.
And Joe Burrow can't find him.
Yeah. It was a thing of beauty. And
33-31 ball game last night. And I said I like the under in that game. Boy, was I wrong on that. Good thing I didn't bet the under yesterday. But I did take the Bengals with the points.
It's interesting when you look at it, you go, okay, how smart of a player is Jamar Chase? And I was watching it with Brooke, and he catches that ball late in the game, and he goes down on like the 8-yard line. And Brooke's like, what's he doing?
When he slid at the end?
Yeah. I said, what he's doing is going to make Pittsburgh use all their timeouts and run the clock down.
Pittsburgh had 2 timeouts left.
Yes.
So if you would have scored and look, say what you want. Aaron Rodgers is a shell of himself, but you don't give Aaron Rodgers the ball with a minute.
He still threw the ball 70 yards on that last play.
I know. Longest throw by him since 2017.
Really?
Yeah. I saw Next Gen Stats, I think, had that set. Longest ball in the air. It was 69-point-something yards in the air for that. Yeah, you don't give Aaron Rodgers the ball back, and that's where now sometimes I think that comes from the sideline, but in that instance, I don't think it did. I think that was just him recognizing the moment. They might have said, hey, if you got an opportunity, don't score, but moment when he had 2 guys on him that he could have broken it in, I feel like that was more on the field than it was.
Remember where that play started? You'll talk about that. There are timeout balls on the 3-yard line. You'll say, hey, don't score. But that would start on the other side of 50.
Yeah.
Cincinnati was not expecting to complete that pass and have him he could have run into the end zone.
He could have scored that. Absolutely. So
and just so people understand,
yeah.
the thing that could have happened is if he scores right on that play, I believe there's about 1:40 left.
I want to say 1:30, yeah.
2 timeouts. Mm-hmm. And even if you make the extra point, that only gives it was 31-30.
30, yes. They were down by
one. It would give you 37 points. And now Pittsburgh, with 1:40, if they go down and score, they can beat you.
Absolutely.
If they don't get the ball back, guess what? They can't beat you.
I just worry, like in this day and age, man, when he did it, and then the broadcast was gushing all over it, and I was like, oh, I just don't trust field goal kickers in this day and age, especially this year. A lot of blocked field goals have happened this year, a lot of special teams blunders, and just right on my top of my head was like, oh, I don't know if I like that.
It was shorter than an extra point, and here's what people don't understand, because I would always over-instill that in players, because guess what you avoided? You took 3 knees, and you avoided a kickoff. You avoided probably 7, 8, 9 defensive plays that guys could have gotten hurt on. Anything could have happened that could have been bad.
Mm-hmm.
You avoided all that.
You could have gone cover 0 and had your, they could have scored an 80-yard touchdown on a cover 0 defense.
Yeah, hey, kudos to the Bengals. Look out, Super Bowl, here we come. I saw Joe Burrow on the sideline. He kind of goes, I wonder if they're going to trade me.
It is amazing, and this is my argument. You saw it last night. Now, keep in mind, it was a Thursday night home game for the Bengals.
Yeah.
So they intrinsically have an advantage in that game. Thursday night home teams have a slight advantage over the opponent. So then Pittsburgh came in distracted. And that stuff. Second week with Flacco, you tend to think he's going to be better in the second week than the first week. He's more of the playbook, etc. It's stuff to that. So I'm not willing to say that all of a sudden the Bengals are back in this division and they're going to fight it out. Let's see when the regular season, regular part of the season comes back in, stuff like that. But did that offense not look better?
It looked like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, and that's what we talk about with the Cardinals. I'm just sitting there last night going, that team. And we didn't play a lot of press conference stuff this week because we had a busy week here, right? I'm going back to it. I've held on to it all week because it's just bothering. And the first thing I thought of last night was Drew Penzing talking about the Cardinals' offense last week. And you got to recognize how things are run differently, how things look differently. And you saw it last night. It was just plain as day. And the best part about it is that Ari guy on Twitter, my sports update, I was listening to Cleveland radio this morning. Cleveland Browns radio is losing their mind. He put a couple clips up. Trading in division, only got a 5th-round pick for that guy. He's better than the Browns quarterbacks that they have, and they're losing their mind over Joe Flacco at Cincinnati. Pittsburgh's losing their mind about Joe Flacco being in Bengals land today. What? It's just the most. I do agree. You don't trade in division.
Well,
I'm a big fan of that. Yeah. But they're losing their mind over it.
Because Holmberg brought that up yesterday. Okay. Obviously, he's a big Pittsburgh guy.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
He said, and he's sick like you. He watches press conferences and all 22 and blah, blah, blah. And
dude, it's great. It's awesome.
And he
fantastic.
And he said that he brought that because I obviously don't do that.
Yeah.
And he said, the weirdest thing happened. Tomlin, not only did he kind of criticize the Browns, but he named names.
He flat out called them out.
He called out the general manager. He said, I don't ever remember Tomlin doing that.
Yeah, and he did it, I think, Wednesday, the day before this Thursday night game. And it's like, shouldn't you be focusing on your Thursday night matchup there, Tiger?
Yeah, and again, what I love is now it's a long weekend. It'll be all over Sunday and every broadcast. And the reason that you trade him is he's 41 years old.
And he's got value.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of value.
You only got a 5th-round draft pick. But here's the other side. The other reason why you trade him is you got to see what your rookie's got. Is he your future, right? You put a high draft pick in him. Get him in there, get his lumps now halfway through the season. I just have a problem with the in-division trading. That does bother me.
And to address that, to me, it would be different if Seattle and San Francisco. If you think you have a chance to win the division.
But that's what I'm saying. You think the Browns – that's why I have a feeling you were going. You think the Browns have no chance.
They know they have no chance.
But the Bengals do with a quarterback. Yeah. They can make the playoffs in a push with a quarterback.
And who knows? Maybe Cincinnati's the only team that would offer a fifth-round pick.
Well, that's the issue. Who else? I want to know who else was reaching out to trade for
him. And maybe there wasn't anybody.
Who else needs a quarterback?
No.
Maybe Minnesota, because their backup terrible. We'll see this week after the bye week if he's any better. The redheaded kid from North Dakota. What's his name? Carson Wentz. He's been terrible for them. He's been all right. I shouldn't say terrible. He's been all right. But, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Nobody else is asking. It makes sense. And my opinion is, like you said, he's not your future. Your future's the young kids. Trade him and get that fifth-round draft pick. But people are not happy in Cleveland today watching that game. Can you imagine being a fan base and you're watching two division opponents battle it out on a Thursday night, and your takeaway is our GM sucks so bad because he traded our 41-year-old quarterback to that guy.
Hey, obviously, it was all the culmination of everything. And then for him to go out, I don't know forget how many catches that Chase had, but he had like 12 or something.
Yeah, I got it right here, actually, because I wanted to relook it back up as I clicked the wrong button there. And everything. I mean, he had 161 yards. I know that. He had 76 yards, like in the first half.
Right.
16 receptions, 161 yards.
16 receptions.
Yeah. I got an idea, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Guard that guy.
Well, even that last catch, there were two guys covering him.
Two guys were on him, and he still snuck it in there. T. Higgins had 6 catches for 96 yards.
Oh, my.
So would you rather have 16 catches, 161 yards, and a touchdown, or 6 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown?
Wow, this 160 yards makes you more tired.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. And Higgins still had a great day. Oh. It's 6 catches, 96 yards.
Oh,
but, I mean,
imagine how happy they are.
The Pittsburgh defense, that's the big question coming. I've been telling you guys all along. I'll tell you that I haven't looked lately, but I mentioned it to Lou yesterday. He almost lost his mind. As of like Sunday night, Monday, Ravens were still favored to win that division on the betting line.
Really?
Yeah, it was like amazing to see. People don't have faith in Pittsburgh, and last night's defensive performance isn't telling you you should have faith in Pittsburgh to win that division still. But now if Cincinnati looks like that, it's going to be fun to watch that. Now, I haven't looked the rest of the week, so it might have flipped now. But I don't know now after last night. Bengals might be up there, Dale. It's amazing to see. But Joe Flacco, here's the other side of it. He threw 47 times. How much of an ice bath is his shoulder in today? Like, did he just sleep with the ice thing on the shoulder?
And they probably said, sleep in, Joe. You don't have to fly coach back to Cleveland to get any more things this
47
week.
throws for one for each year he's been around. He's been on this earth. 342 yards. Here's my issue. Now, like I said, last night I did a lot of equating this to Cardinals stuff, looking at stuff for this weekend and all that. 41-year-old Joe Flacco, resurgence of himself, threw the ball 47 times yesterday for 342 yards. Cardinals offense until last week hadn't had a 300-yard game at all.
Yeah. But now, again, explain to me who you think even approached Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Absolutely nobody.
No.
Well, that was the double threat with those guys. It's going to be interesting to see, because I said at the beginning of the year in the preseason, I said Jacoby Brissett's going to, I use the term accidentally, cause a quarterback controversy here in town, whether he gets into a game or Kyler's struggling and people want him in the game this year. It's going to be interesting to see if Joe Flacco finishes this season really well, what the perception, coming back with Joe Burrow, what's the perception of Joe Burrow when he comes back? Because Joe Burrow ain't performing like this on the Bengals. Everybody blames the offensive line. Was anybody? I watched the press conferences, but I didn't get into like the crowd reaction and stuff like that last night. Who's blaming the offensive line after last night's performance by Joe Flacco? Joe Burrow's back there, and the offensive line's terrible. Burrow has no time back there. He's running for his life constantly. Very similar narrative to what happens here, Dale.
Well, you got to say that I don't think Joe Flacco is any more quick or fast than Joe Burrow.
No, but Joe Burrow will escape with his legs. Flacco has no intention of going anywhere except for 3 or 5 steps back.
Well, they did have 6 quarterback hits and 2 sacks.
Yes. And you watch it with Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow's constantly getting hit by 3 or 4 guys. And
you wonder if so it could be a couple of things. Number one, it could be Joe. A lot of times when you're playing free and loose and you don't really know the offense all that well, obviously he's seen a bunch of offenses in his 20-year career.
Yes.
But a lot of times you come in, he's just loose and carry. He's just winging the ball around.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hit the open guy running down the field.
Hey, I don't know what the second read is. I see him. I'm throwing the ball to him, and you simplify things. And I've always said this.
Yeah, that's true.
What I coach is the fact that the more you put in a player's head that he has to think about, the less he gets to use his athletic ability.
That's my argument with Kyler Murray. Is the way they design these route trees. They make Kyler Murray have to make a decision to which receiver he's going to hit in a half of a second time frame,
right.
and he can't do it. And it's like, man, you got to simplify that. Tell him this is your guy you throw to. If he's covered, throw it anyway. Just throw it out of his reach and stuff. But it was amazing to watch. And I did spend a lot of last night just being like, wow, there's a lot of correlations between all this and the Cardinals going into this weekend. Which is interesting to see.
Jamar Chase, 23 targets.
Yeah, 23.
23 targets.
What does Marvin Harrison get? 12 a game? If he's
23,
lucky?
that's probably he doesn't even get 12 a game.
That's what I'm saying. If he's lucky.
That's like 5 games.
No, well, I include when they go to the sideline and the water boy throws them a water jug. Yeah, those are targets too.
Yeah,
right?
you have to watch that Sunday, see if he drops that.
Is he even going to play? That's the big question.
Oh, right.
Zay Jones has a knee problem. Is he going to play? I think Zay's going to play. They're just taking it easy on that. But, Cardinals have injury problems going into this weekend on top of everything else. But even then, speaking of that, we'll get into NFL more in depth later on and make our picks and things to that effect. But speaking of distractions, Packers' Micah Parsons calls out one-sided officiating and the tush push. Of course, he was all over Twitter last time the Eagles played, or X, last time the Eagles played about how terrible the tush push is.
Well, did they run 4 times?
4 in a row.
Yeah.
I might have been. God, yeah, it might have been more than that. Now I don't remember because I'm so disgusted by it. I don't have a problem with the play. But if you're going to drive down the field doing the tush push, I have zero interest in watching that happen out there as well. So, but he talked about it. He didn't talk about it last week. They didn't bring it up, earlier in the week. He was talking about it yesterday, calling out officiating yesterday. When you're getting ready to come to Arizona for the
who's he think he is? Phil Jackson? He's going to work the NBA officials before the next game?
He even said yesterday he doesn't think the NFL will do anything about the situation. Why are you talking about the tush push? The Cardinals don't run it. Why is that your focus? Which was interesting, it then led to Matt LaFleur, the head coach of the Packers, had to talk about the tush push yesterday because he was asked about it. Other players were asked about it. What are you focusing? You're worried about the tush push, and that tells me they're not paying attention to the Cardinals. They think they're walking in here and beating the Cardinals by 30, Dale. They don't even think it's going to be a ball game. They're more worried about facing the Eagles. It's whatever point they have to face.
So you're telling me the Cardinals is the ultimate look-ahead game.
Put the money on the Cardinals this weekend, folks, is what I'm saying right now. I just don't get on a Thursday. I can understand a Monday. I can understand the off day on Tuesday. But starting Wednesday, your focus should be on the next opponent.
Oh, yeah.
Not the tush push, not the Eagles, I'll dare even say, not officiating. What are you doing? This distraction mode there. And on top of it, you sent me that stat the other day. Let me pull it up here real quick on Micah Parsons. How good, if I just said to you, and I was floored by what you sent me, and you got it, I think, from one of those ESPN football shows, right?
Yeah.
If you said to me, because I've watched a few Packers games, and Micah Parsons, makes himself known, at least on passing downs. Doesn't mean he gets a hurry, but he gets double teamed, and stuff to that effect. But if you said to me, how's Micah Parsons, how's the Packers defense improved since Micah Parsons?
How's that $50 million doing you there, Packers?
I would say, you know what? It's probably, if I had to guess, it's probably a big improvement. He's freeing up other guys to make rushes. Probably helping the secondary because he's getting into the backfield sooner and stuff like that. No. What you said me was Packers pressure percentage last 2 seasons. 2024, before Micah, 32.3 was their percentage to pressure the quarterback.
Remember that number, 32.
With Micah.
Yeah.
With Micah this year, all the games so far, 32.1. Not only is it almost equal, it's actually digressed with one of the best pass rushers in football. And you're paying that guy, like you said, $47 million a year. Wow. Micah Parsons, one of those players that, now he disappears a lot. He really does.
Yeah.
But when he performs, it is like an all-time, it's like you get 9 pressures and hurries and sacks in a game. And you go, oh, my God, that's Micah. And then he disappears for 2 games. But you remember the 9, not the 2 he disappeared.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Again, it's going to be fascinating because obviously, in my mind, he's got off to a slow start in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help but think that the Packers hierarchy isn't going, $50 million? $50 million.
Well, here's the weird other side. Packers don't make moves like that.
No.
For this reason. They build through the draft. If they go get free agents, it's lower tier free agents that you pay middle of the line and they come in and perform. They don't go do guys like this and get guys like this. And it's like, what? But that was startling. Whatever NFL show on ESPN, I give them credit, but I don't know which one it was. But I never would have guessed that.
No. And so, in a roundabout way, you look at it, he will never be absolved of it, but maybe Jerry did make the right move in that situation.
Well,
although,
remember at the end, I was going, maybe Jerry's making the right move. Remember I said that?
Although Dallas's defense isn't exactly the monsters of the Midway.
Yeah, God, last week, that was terrible. Yeah, no, but would their pass rush be better with Micah Parsons?
You would think that it'd be a tick upwards.
Because the run defense has been bad. But now you've made your pass defense bad on top of it.
Right.
You mean 50-year-old Jadeveon Clowney isn't cutting it for the Cowboys in the pass rush department compared to Micah Parsons? I'm going to say now, I kind of questioned it before the trade went down, the way Jerry was playing this, and I kind of questioned it. I'm going to say Jerry might have been right about this.
Yeah.
Now, it looks terrible right now, and you got to rebuild your defense as the Cowboys. But I think Jerry Jones looked at the Cowboys and said, you're going to have to outscore us. We're going to score 40 points a game. You got to outscore us to beat us.
And you're thinking, hey, with a competent defensive coordinator, Uberflus, he can at least hold them under 40. That hadn't worked out so well either.
Last week, that was terrible. Yeah. Terrible last week as well. But so I'm just going around and just like I'm just sitting here amazed at the amount of distractions that's out there this week in the NFL side, with the Steelers going into last night, now Micah Parsons, not focusing on the Cardinals in the press conference. Obviously you can think of other stuff, but why are you doing that in a press conference?
Right.
Everybody's like, hey, tell us about the Cardinals matchup this weekend and, what's going to be like going up against Paris Johnson Jr. and, Froholt and, Will Hernandez, what side are you going to line up on? And he goes, let's talk about the tush push and how officials don't call it properly. I don't know what's happening anymore.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So today, folks, just heads up, Talladega is on the docket. 1 p.m. our time, Truck Series race at Talladega today. Catch the Look Ahead Pit Stop Show. It is up. It was up yesterday as well on the free YouTube channel. Podcast system on Podbean as well. You can find it. And then, of course, also here at Robat TV. That is up and going. Big weekend of racing, Dale. We're a couple weeks away from the Championship 4 here in Phoenix for the last time, for a little bit. It'll come back, but for a little bit.
So who's winning at Talladega, Steve?
I picked in the Cup Series. Oh, gosh, I don't remember who I picked.
Wow.
I know, and I did it yesterday.
There's only 12 of them, weren't there?
No, there's other people that race and everything. But in terms of the playoff side and everything,
Yeah.
I'm drawing a complete blank right now. Oh, I got Ryan Blaney winning in the Cup Series tomorrow. Corey Heim winning the truck. I'm sorry, Lane Riggs winning the truck race today at 1:00. Dale's like, who? Young phenom there. I got him surprising and winning that. And I don't remember the Xfinity Series who I had. Hey, somebody watch the show and tell me who I picked.
So do they just pick drivers out of the stands to race in here too? Because there's only 6 or 8 people who count, right?
Oh yeah. So no, it's a playoff thing where you get eliminated from the playoffs started with Truck Series. They started with 10. And you get eliminated as you go on, but you still go out there and race. You still have sponsors, and you're still working towards goals. There's owner championship. You have to the guy that won the Xfinity race last week. He's out of the playoffs, but he's got owner championship stuff that he's going for. Yeah. So there's a lot of mixture on that deal.
Yeah, confusing.
Maybe you should watch the pitch stop and understand.
Well, you don't even remember. You'd run the pit stop, and you just don't know who you picked.
I had Jesse Love in the Xfinity Series. Just hit me. Pick Jesse Love to win at Talladega tomorrow.
Jesse Love.
From that side. Jesse Love.
Sounds like a
name.
Movie character.
Yeah, a movie you're familiar with. Probably from that side. Yesterday you were driving around taking a Graham Tate, the grandkids, over to flag football practice. And cute little video there. Did he really ask you what you used to get hyped to before a game?
Actually, he's got 2 songs that he really likes, and when they came on, I said, "This is kind of the stuff that gets you ready for football." This is about a week ago, and so he asked to play those songs. Yes,
that was
I've never caught him before.
Yeah.
I mean, he's back there headbanging.
He was. Yeah, I didn't have time to pull the video down, and I saw it right before the show, but. Cute little video, but yeah, did you go? It's flag football, man. You don't have to get.
No, we gotta get good. We're running through walls, Steve.
Teaching them early.
I guess it's just so fun now to watch other people have to coach their kids and how serious they take it.
Yes.
I mean, there's a couple dads on his team that are just every single play they're yelling, they're doing something. And finally, last night at practice, I looked at one and go, "Hey, you know what your goal is this year?" Because what's that? I said, to have him come out and play next year.
Yeah, not have him hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, especially at that age, man.
He said, I don't know why my 8-year-old doesn't want to play anymore.
Yeah. I have a feeling. I got a feeling. I mean, there's teaching them how to get ready for a game and getting in the zone, you will. But then there's also, my philosophy with Ireland playing softball was let her play. We'll talk about stuff after the game. I'm not going to be sitting there in the crowd going, remember to do this. That's not the moment. It's after the moment to kind of talk.
And there will be will be a time. It's not in grade school.
Yeah, that's
if you start getting to 8th, 9th, 10th grade, and all of a sudden you're good enough.
Yeah.
Okay, now you want to sit down and get serious and whatever, but. Nowadays
it starts at 7th and 8th grade. You got to start having those stuff. You'd still be relaxed about it, but you start getting the more of the fundamentals and more of the seriousness. Yeah. When you're there, you're more serious in 7th and 8th grade. I'm just telling you, Dale. I had a daughter that went through that. It's 7th and 8th grade. You start to see people starting to take it serious. Yeah. And things like that. So you got it, and that's just in the moment when you're there is where you take it. I had that talk with Ireland. Hey, there's no screwing around in practice here at the high school. It's 7th and 8th grade on your school team one. That's the rec league where you do that.
Right.
Here you got it. While you're here, you take it serious. She got onto it, and she did well there. And then you go to the rec league, and that's what got her in trouble with that one coach, that jackass that was yelling at 12-year-old girls like they were freaking going to. He was going to personally take them to the, softball championships and college and everything, and made several of them actually never want to go back and play again. That's what that a-hole did.
Not that it's right on the front of your mind.
So, I think about it all the time. Yeah. It makes me angry. I was too nice to him. I was way too nice to him. I should have been meaner about it, but whatever. I don't have to see his ugly face ever again. Hey, speaking of ugly faces.
Uh-oh.
They'll illustrate, everybody. Just kidding. Just kidding. Tonight, big high school football night tonight.
Yeah.
It's homecoming at Desert Ridge. They got Corona del Sol. Spirits are high. They're going to win this game or be in it. Corona struggle this year. We'll see. Maybe have a game over there in Mesa.
Is that where you're going? You're not going to go?
No, I haven't decided 100% yet, but I think I'm going to SCA. But obviously, everybody else is going to the homecoming. Because the Palm team and everybody are going over there. I'm not going to show my face over there with that AD being like he does.
Ooh.
Just kidding. In all seriousness, that's why I'm bringing it up. Okay, I have to be fair about this. I felt like I did it appropriate. I didn't call him by his name. I didn't do all that stuff. But my tweet last week, my soliloquy on Monday, apparently hit some nerves from what I've heard from a lot of people. And but I have to be fair about it. He did send an apology through the apps to the Palm parents. Now, I'm not part of that. She's my favorite kid. That's not mine, Elizabeth. But I'm not part of that. I'm not part of that side, so I didn't get the apology. So my opinion, I'm still whatever. You're still a jerk, right, and stuff like that. But he did send an apology to everybody, because the principal made him. He didn't do it on his own.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
You don't.
I do know that. I saw several emails from the principal telling some of the parents that complained that he's going to be sending an apology to everybody. So I do know that. Of judging, unless they're being lied to from that side. So I do have to be fair. He did send an apology.
Okay.
From that side, but we'll see tonight. We'll see how it rebounds tonight. But hey, if you're going to win a game. This is like me at Hendricks Junior High School, man. 9th grade year, we went 0-for. In our last game of the year, we went to Powell Junior High, Dale. And we got that win, baby. And it made that season. We were celebrating on the field. We were just having a ball at Powell Junior High because we won one game. And that was the feeder into Dobson. That's why Dobson never won anything.
Powell Junior High didn't get fed into Dobson.
They didn't get in there either. I'm just saying, if you're going to go out there, play hard tonight, boys, and win that game. That's all I'm going to say. And then, of course, SCA Camp Verde up there in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
The Turf on Tatum. I'm going to think of other names. I'm just going to slip them a note up there tonight and just be like, hey, man, try these while you're at it.
That's your guy Bobby up there.
No, that's the best part. The best part is I'm just waiting for him to be like, you really don't like it? I'm just going to stare at him. It's a lot of this is a gimmick, folks. A lot of what I do is a gimmick out there. So tonight, Queen Creek, ALL Queen Creek, we talked about it earlier. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we'll see a certain quarterback come back to Queen Creek here sooner than later coming up here. All-state quarterback, had missed all the games except for the first one and went out in that one. They might get him back a little bit earlier is what I'm going to surmise here, Dale. I'm talking about Tate Reynolds, of course.
Right.
Coming that. And he is not I think I said it here. I think they've announced it actually. Because I've read it also. So hopefully they have. But he's not even going to play baseball there. He's going on early graduate and moving on to go play Syracuse.
You mean Clemson?
I mean Clemson, Syracuse. Both orange teams.
It's just one of those things I struggle so much. What?
I don't know why you would give up your high school experience for that.
Probably the most enjoyable semester of your entire life.
That's what I'm getting at. I wasn't in sports my senior year of high school, especially that second half. But I was out of school. I did 3 classes, and then I was home to do whatever I wanted and rubble rouse or whatever, hang out with friends, go to whatever I wanted to do. I don't know why you give that up to.
There's a prom, there's sport, whatever.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
The pressure's going to start in the summer anyway. Why make it start in January?
Got to get a head start.
Yeah.
I think that's just where we're leading too much pressure onto people at this point, to be honest with you.
I just say, again, I can't imagine Clemson's telling her to graduate early. Anyway.
Why would now, I don't know. Football-wise, a lot of people will do that.
More and more have been doing it
to get into. But they have
want it for
spring
spring
camp,
ball.
spring
They want it
ball,
for
and all
spring
that
ball,
stuff.
yeah.
Unless he's gonna. I don't know. I don't know the baseball rules. I mean, that's the heart of baseball season in college. Is he going to actually go and be part of the team? That's a little different. If you're going for football, you're just going for spring practice,
Right.
And that's a baseball. If you're on the team and practicing with the team, I don't know. My opinion might change on that a little bit. That's right in the heart of baseball season.
That would be. I don't know if they're eligible or not.
That's what I'm getting. I don't know the rules of baseball.
I guess if he graduates, that is kind of interesting.
I'm gonna have to look into that because I'm not gonna lie to you now. I changed my mind. That does make sense at that point.
If he's gonna go play.
Get some playing time. But even then, practicing with, I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, but then aren't you blowing a year of eligibility to not? I guess you could redshirt or something. Right? I don't know. I got to look up the rules.
Yeah.
We're speculating here coming up there. But big Friday night around town as well, and go team. And don't forget Scottsdale Christian, man. This is for the region tonight. Could you imagine you go undefeated through the whole season? You're 8-0. You lose one game at the end of the year to a team that already has a loss, but that was out of region. And boom, you're second place in your region if you lose tonight. Talk about pressure. All the people saying SCA has it easy and they're just dominating. Pressure's on tonight, man. You don't want to finish second in your region.
I feel pretty confident about them tonight. Again, there's probably 4 teams in 2A that whenever they play each other.
That's what I'm interested in seeing. They have similar opponents. I looked at the schedules and stuff. Camp Verde blew out the same people that SCA blew out, kind of like Phoenix Christian did. They had one close game against a really good team. I think they lost to ALA, who SCA hasn't played. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong on that. But I'm interested in seeing. You're right. The top 4 teams are a step above. At least we've seen that so far. Like Phoenix Christian's above everybody SCA's played so far.
Yes.
SCA's at that level. Obviously, Veritas, I haven't seen them play, but I'm assuming they're at that level again also. So you got 3 teams right there.
Santan.
But they're ranked a little bit lower, but I put Santan at that level also. When playoffs come, they're going to be a threat.
Yep.
So how does the 5th ranked team rank against those guys? You're right. This could be – it's going to tell us a lot tonight.
Yeah.
If SCA goes out there and wins this game comfortably, it's going to tell you that there's a big step off from those top 3-4 people down to that 5th and down below. And that's what I'm interested in seeing tonight.
Well,
is there that big of a drop-off?
And just to be fair, it's really in every classification in Arizona high school football.
Yes. We're not criticizing
no. I mean, it's 6A. There's 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 5 teams that compete against
that. Basha, Hamilton, and Liberty are steps above everybody else. Yeah.
And there might be one other team that sneaks in there. Brophy could be, but they've also got killed by Hamilton.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, there's a questionable 1 or 2 before a big drop-off, but it's a questionable 1 or 2, St. John's, by the way, is the 4th team in 2A, in which I've never seen.
And you don't know who they play.
That's way up north.
Yeah. but what the way I always look at it is like, and what I try and explain to people, the top 5 teams play each other in any division. 9 out of 10 times it could be a really competitive game.
Yeah.
If 6 through 20 play each other, 9 out of 10 times it could be competitive.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at Cortez, which SCA blew out. A couple other teams SCA played blew them out, and then they had really close games against other schools.
But if a top 5 team plays the 18th team, it's a big talent disparity.
Yeah, so that's what I'm interested in seeing tonight. Is Camp Verde as the 5th ranked team? Similar schedule, similar teams, similar scores as SCA. How's that going to turn out? We saw that last week with Phoenix Christian. Same type of a schedule, just blew everybody out, and that was a competitive game. So it'll be interesting to see tonight where we look at it from that perspective. Where's Arizona Lutheran at, by the way?
That's down.
It's in Phoenix, though, right?
It's it's in West Phoenix. It's down on farmland.
Okay, because I was going to say
it's the avenues south of 10.
But far out there?
Yeah. I want to say like 35th.
Okay, so not that. I was wondering if they were far west.
No, I think it's like 35th Avenue.
So they're right in them. I was just curious if they were counted as that far west side type of teams from there. Well, that's the other thing. If I look at the 2A side of stuff, this is fascinating to me. I just wish I would have thought of this with Coach on last week. A lot of outside Phoenix schools are ranked really high on this. And it goes to your point, and it's going to sound like I'm knocking them, but I'm not. But when you get out to these rural schools, right, you kind of get limited. Like Pima, they're the only school in that area. You got to go to Morenci or other schools, farther away to get to that. So like St. John's, like I mentioned, Wilcox, for instance, right? It's just how many of these rural schools, are at the level that their schedule and their points say they are coming up here. So it's going to be fascinating to watch here coming up on the playoff side, because then they might come in and have to play an in-town team like Camp Verde, for instance.
Yeah.
They come into town and play an in-town team. Yeah, they're dominating their stuff up north. Then they come into town here, and the competition gets a little bit different. But so I am looking forward to that tonight, just to see how that difference is as we're getting into the playoff side of things coming up here as well.
Arizona Lutheran Academy is basically 27th Avenue and Southern.
Oh, okay, so it's south. Okay,
Yeah.
I was wondering. I never looked it up, but I was wondering if they were, I'm not gonna not Buckeye, but out that way,
Right.
That if they were that far out. So okay.
And remember, if SCA wins, it looks like Lake Havasu, not Lake Havasu. What's
I want to say St. John's, but that's not
No.
it. That's what I'm thinking of right now off the top of my head. But the school out there, yes, we'll just say Parker.
Yes.
The Parker's probably winning that region, and we know which region they're playing.
And so that if Parker wins tonight and SCA wins tonight, SCA's got to travel to Parker, which is, that's a
Not
3-hour
easy to
bus
get.
ride.
What do you have to do? You have to I-10 to Quartzsite and then cut up.
Not
easy to get to.
Or take a private jet.
Go to Kingman. Go to the house, the town that Sheehan's built.
Have dinner there.
And then cut over and then down to Parker. Yeah, that's a ride and a half, and that game's going to lead to if you get a bye in the first round of the playoffs
Right.
or not. So that's a big deal. That's a big thing there. But that's why I was kind of asking him. I didn't get specific because I didn't want him to, I didn't want to put him on the spot. But part of me wonders if, and I asked about the scoreboard watching yesterday.
Yeah.
Are you paying attention to that? Like, maybe we don't want to go to Parker next year.
Well, that's the thing. You want to win, but you don't want to go to Parker.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where that basis of that question came from yesterday was, you're up, whatever. Let's just say they're up 31-14, and third quarter's ending there, and you just have somebody tell you what the scores are in the other games real quick.
I don't think you get scores from Parker that quickly.
Some schools are really good. And SCA has always been good at it, but there's a couple times this year where I couldn't get updated scores. They weren't posting them. I asked them about it, and they got good to get at it. But some schools are lacking on that. I wonder if they do it on purpose. You think Parker will be doing it on purpose? So
Yeah.
But that is happening right now. It's going to be a fun Friday night around high school football and everything. Of course, college football this weekend, and I don't know. I have questions on head coaching and signings and stuff like that. If you're Penn State, are you bumming today? Even more so than normal? We'll talk about that. Come on back. It's the main event. And we're back here. Main events. Having some fun here. And Dale just asked the question, why would you want to go to Penn State? Why does anybody want to go to Penn State, Dale? Literally in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, on this little plateau. State College there. Interesting side on that. But, I mean, this sends a big message to Penn State. Your school isn't the we must go coach their school that I think Penn State fans think it is. Or if you don't know what we're talking about, Indiana's head coach, of course, yesterday signed a huge extension, one of the highest paid college football coaches in the land, $11.6 million per season. The thing that shocked me the most wasn't the dollar amount, it was the years. 8 years signing as well. Can you sustain success? Now, he's doing it for year 2 at Indiana, right? The second year in a row, he's sustaining that success. Can you sustain success like this at Indiana for 8 more years? Is the question, Dale.
Well, as I'm looking at this thing, it looks like he was making $4 million.
Okay, I said
last year.
I said I'd be shocked if it was more than 3.
But then they signed him to an extension when they started off 10-0 last year. I think it went up to 8, and now it's up to 11.
So it's not that big of an increase then on that side. But more importantly, Indiana folks putting money into their program.
Yeah.
Wow, their football program. Let me put it that way. He's only in his second season. He's now with the transfer portal, you can turn the roster over quicker. In the old days, you'd say he's coaching with the other people's players, right? And so don't forget, like people are like, who's this guy? He's from the I just forgot his name, the Alabama head coach, Nick Saban. He's from Nick Saban's coaching tree.
Yep.
He was a coach on those teams there, but he won an FCS title. Now it's an FCS title, but anytime you win a title, you've got to be good at what you do, and for the recruiting and coaching and stuff to that effect. He did win a championship down at that level as well. And then second year, and then that's at James Madison, by the way. And then they've had him. Indiana's gone 17-2 since they hired him from James Madison in these 2 years.
His $8.3 million salary ranks below 5 Big Ten coaches. Yeah, you want to know who those are?
James Franklin.
It was, yes.
Yeah, but doesn't he still count because they have to pay him?
Yeah.
Well, he was $8 million a year. James Franklin was 8 a year, wasn't he?
I don't know. I'm just all he said.
So obviously it's Urban Meyer. I'm not Urban Meyer. The Ohio State head coach Ryan Day. He's number 1, right?
Yeah.
Holy cow! I don't know. Michigan's head coach ain't making that much.
No.
He can't be making that much.
No. Two West Coast coaches.
Oh, I forgot. Washington.
No.
Ed Fish isn't up there?
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah. Stupid Lincoln.
Dan Lanning.
I forget they're in the Big Ten.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I was thinking I was trying to think of the Oregon head coach name.
And then Matt Rule.
And he might be your next Penn State head coach.
Well, you might figure out you can't win at Nebraska.
Well, they're ranked right now. I think the lesson to learn from James Franklin is when you hitch your wagon in this day and age of transfer portals, et cetera, and you hitch your wagon to a quarterback that can't get you over the top, it's going to do you in at some point. Which also is the Matt Rule problem. Matt Rule has the same problem, ironically enough, over there with Raiola there in Nebraska as well. But, yeah, look at this. To me, it's great Indiana's doing this. It's a fun story to watch. The 8 years is what shocks me. You know, what we need to know on the details is what's the
buyout.
What's the buyout if he wants to leave as it goes down every year? It goes down every year. By the way, 2 coaches, Georgia's Kirby Smart and Ryan Day there at Ohio State, are earning more than $11.6 million is what I see here as well.
Yeah. And here's what just blows my mind. Now, these are some of the things that were on his extension from last December. He gets $100,000 for winning 5 Big Ten games. If I'm paying you $8 or $11 million, you better win 5 damn games for me. Isn't that just a given?
Yeah, if you're not, you will no longer be our head coach if you only win 4 games in a season.
$250,000 for a top 6 finish, $500 for a second place finish, or $1 million for Big Ten championship, $200,000 for a bowl appearance.
A lot of those ones, though, you get bonus because the school makes a lot more money for going to a Big 12, Big Ten championship game and stuff.
$500,000 for
those
making
ones
the
make
college
sense.
football playoff.
But finishing second in the Big Ten, why are you getting bonus for that?
Well, you're probably still making the playoff.
That's your job to do that. Like I said, I understand if you get to a college football playoff, you should be bonused on that because the school's getting a lot more money based off of that win as well, right? Or getting to that point as well. So, yeah. So, I mean, look at this. But to me, this says a lot about Penn State. I don't think it's the school. Everybody's saying Penn State's a great job. Is it?
Yeah, that's the
Is
thing.
it?
A lot of pressure comes with it.
Remember when they got James Franklin? Now, that was coming out of, they had the coach that ended up coaching at the Texans and the NFL level, Bill O'Brien. They got him as like a fill-in gap guy. But they had a hard time finding people. And then when they got James Franklin there. Now, that stigma, I believe that stigma's gone from Penn State for the most part. Some of us still think about it. But I don't know if Penn State's that school that you're just like, I have to go coach there. Unless you're from that area. Or, you grew up in that area and you want to coach it. I don't see big name guys going, I'm leaving even Indiana. I'm not leaving Indiana to go to Penn State.
No.
Cignetti, no matter what happens in the next 8 years of him coaching in Indiana, he is going to be on a pedestal for the rest of his life there because of last year and this year.
Yes.
He could go 2 for whatever in the next couple of years and get blown out. They're going to think highly of him because of 2 years.
And if you go 10-2 at Penn State, they're looking to replace you.
That's what I was just going to. James Franklin had good records every year, and every year people were like, he's got to be fired.
Because he couldn't one game, he
couldn't win the big one.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why you would do it. So who's going to step up and go to that point? Matt Rule's a guy that would, because Matt Rule just has giant, he's got huge, he doesn't care if he goes to Penn State and loses because he's just there to get the money, and he knows he'll land someplace else. And he's been fired from high-profile jobs before, so it doesn't help as well. So that's fascinating to me, what's happening. And I can tell you this, if you're a kid that can play in Big Ten football and you got Penn State calling you, other than Ohio State, you got Penn State calling you, you got Michigan calling you, you got Wisconsin calling you, I would lean toward Indiana right now over those schools. Ohio State would be the one where I'd be like, Ohio State wants me? I wouldn't go to Ohio State. That would be a decision because what's my playing time, stuff like that, with the people in front of you. But I'd go to Indiana. Indiana has more upside than Michigan does right now with their coaching staff and, the issues they have in terms of, NCAA watching them and all those rules that they've broken and stuff like that. And I don't know. Isn't that shocking? I'd rather go to Indiana than Illinois.
No doubt about that.
I'd rather go to Indiana than Iowa or Michigan State, Nebraska. You'd find me at. I can't stand Indiana, folks. I spent a lot of time in Indianapolis, and that's a big city in Indiana. I don't ever want to have to move there and live there for any amount of time.
I'd rather be in Indiana than Maryland or Rutgers.
Yeah, the only one I think that, it's just, now, I said Ohio State, but don't forget Oregon. Obviously, Oregon, Washington, I'd look at those, USC, maybe. If Lincoln Riley wasn't there, I'd probably look at that. But that's what I mean. It's just, that's where Indiana's at right now. And he's going to get kids from that Midwest area that traditionally have gone to Wisconsin, Minnesota. Those types of schools are now looking at Indiana, and I think it's fantastic. I think he could sustain it.
James Franklin, his overall record, 104-45, averaged 9 wins a season in his tenure at Penn State. But here's, I think,
12 years though, right?
He was 4-21 versus top 10 teams.
Yeah, couldn't beat the big teams.
16-29 versus ranked teams. Yeah. But he had 5 10-win seasons, 4 11-win seasons.
Yeah, when you beat up on all the crappy teams in your division and you have weak. I saw last week somebody had the 2026 Penn State schedule. Let me look this up here. Look at this. Whoever takes this job, if they can keep this roster together and everything,
no,
it's not good. It is going to be favorable. They start off with Marshall Thundering Herd at Temple Owls. Then they got the Buffalo Bulls as their third game next year. Penn State, folks. Then you're at Maryland Terrapins. You're at Michigan, which Michigan's on a downward trend right now. I know, yell at me, Michigan fans, if you want to. At Northwestern. Minnesota at home. Purdue at home. Rutgers at home. USC at home. Wisconsin Badgers at home. At Washington Huskies. Whoever takes over this Penn State program has a chance to do really, really well next year with that schedule. It's a brutally easily scheduled there. And James Franklin would have lost the game in there. Can they get a coach that'll be able to do it from that side?
Well, it's gonna be interesting. Is that Drew guy coming back after the season injury?
That's the question.
Yeah.
He was going to be. He wasn't going to be. I don't think he was going to be a top 5 pick. Now quarterbacks rotate in the drafts and everything to that effect. But he had surgery, I think yesterday or the day before, successful surgery, and they said he wouldn't even be able to begin throwing again till sometime late or in the spring next year.
Yeah, so
you're not going in the NFL draft. Well, let me ask you, unless your eligibility's up, you're not going, into the NFL draft if you don't have to with that, right?
I don't think you go in like that. No,
I don't. Yeah, it's just I think it's disappeared. But I mean, he was, I don't know why, but he was being looked at as one of the top 5 quarterbacks going to this draft.
I know that. You and I.
I've been questioning it all year.
Yeah.
I even said it in the offseason, I said Penn State's got a potential to have a huge fall down, which they ended up having. Them and Clemson were my 2 teams. And for Penn State, it was strictly their quarterback and their head coach there as well. So, but yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. You're not even sure you can go back to Penn State with the new coaching staff coming in on top.
Well, Drew Aller, according to
AI, I think he's a senior, right?
He's out of football eligibility.
That's what I had a feeling it was going to say.
He is already. He's exhausted his eligibility, and a medical hardship waiver is unlikely to be approved
because of when it happened.
Yeah.
If it happened in the first month, you usually get him, but he's played in 6 games this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it'd be from that side. Yeah. So I mean, talk about a fall from the draft at that point. I do think he was going to fall though.
I don't think he was going to be a first-round pick. I saw him play last year, and I didn't understand all the pomp and circumstance.
Well, it's bad. Like I said, I famously ran into. I told it a lot. That's why it's famous. Those Penn State, those Penn State fans that just didn't know what I do for a living. They're from Penn State. They travel back there for games, huge donors, etc. And I go. It was after the playoff loss, and I go. Is it James Franklin the problem? And they go, yes. But we need a quarterback. He needs to go into the draft.
Yeah.
He needs to transfer. We need a new quarterback. He needs to be. It was just 10 more minutes of them just saying how the quarterback needs to move on with his life, and they need to move on from him. And like I said, these were people that I found out. They weren't bragging or anything. It was just in the course of that they're big supporters of Penn State. Let's just put it that way. And they felt that way. And it's just to bring it back. It's just these coaches are loyal, and I get it. But it gets you in trouble as well, man. When you stop making the hard decisions for the easy ones, it starts to hurt you. And we're seeing that. Kenny Dillingham might have fixed it. Jonathan Gannon doesn't look at least like he's fixing it. He's just fine with status quo. We'll talk about all that.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Wait till you hear, if you didn't hear it, what Drew said this week. We'll come on back. We'll talk about it, of course. Major League Baseball, we'll hit that up when we come back here at the top of the hour, and then it's all football of the rest of the show. So come on back, folks. The main event. And we're back here, second hour, Dale. It's going so fast.
I don't like the new commercial break, Steve.
I
Do
know.
not.
Riley's in here. We need to add a couple other things to it.
I mean,
We just gotta send it to him.
Just show pictures of me.
We don't want to
Eye
chase people
candy.
away. We
The
don't
eye
want to chase
candy
people
of the
away.
show. I can, yeah. I mean, I can do some, poses and at the gym and my Speedo. Ratings that go up during commercials.
Our actually decent female audience here. If you don't know, sports radio is dominated by old men listening. Young people listen to podcasts. That's why we have a podcast version. That's why we're putting it up on demand on YouTube now as well. We haven't started advertising it hugely outside. I don't know what Riley's doing there. Riley, don't show those folders to everybody on the screen. I don't know if that's going out over air or not. He goes, it's not. On our monitors, we just get folder. I'm like, hey, I don't know what Riley's got in those folders there.
Well, and Steve doesn't know what's in his folders.
I know exactly what's in my folders. So if you didn't see that, you don't know what we're talking about. But, so that's why we're doing all that stuff. But, we actually have a decent female audience here, which is really nice. We appreciate it. And, Dale, we don't want to scare them away.
Well, that way my interest might have doubled.
Hey, last night something happened in an NHL game that I don't think I've ever seen before.
Really?
NHL refs, in my eyes, are the most consistent. When you see a hockey player flip out about a penalty called or a non-penalty called, it's rare. And the reason why it's rare, they might argue, and stuff, but to literally flip out about it, it's because NHL refs are the most consistent on the planet in my eyes. They don't make terrible mistakes. Well, last night was a little bit different. How you do that. Like sometimes you have, brain whatever, fog happens when you're about to talk. Trust me, I understand it. I do this for a living, and Dale laughs at me all the time when I do it. Half the time I talk, and then Dale's like, I have no idea what you're saying because you said it right. And I have to repeat it and fix it on all that stuff. But to do this in a game is amazing out there. Last night, referee, after a review, goes to announce what the review determines. Here we go, folks.
After review of the call on the ice stands, we have a goal. Oh, sorry.
Oh, hang on.
Excuse me. After review, there is no goal.
Look, I love the head coach's look. I love the coach's look.
And that says it all.
How do you make that mistake? That is a big call. That is a big difference.
Yeah, but come on. Referees don't go to talking school.
It had nothing to do with talking school. He called the wrong thing.
Yes, because he was a little nervous.
Other than his Canadian accent, he talked it fine.
Hey, at least he didn't make the announcement, turn the mic off, skate away, and then go,
and then have to go back. He caught it in the moment.
Sorry.
I think he got confused because he had a point. They were facing off regardless of whether there was a goal or not.
Right.
So I think he got confused because he knew he was pointing at the thing. There's only one reason to point at the center. That's for a face-off. But I mean, it's just like, oh, come on, man. But I do like how polite he was. Oh, excuse me.
It would have been better since it seemed like a home game for the team that they didn't get the goal.
It was for the Devils.
It would have been the other way around. Replay, no goal.
Well,
excuse me.
Yeah, you heard him when he first announced the goal. Everybody was like, "What? Oh!" Or Dale, conspiracy theory time. Did he change his ruling because the crowd booed him? I know. I'm just trying to cause problems.
Yeah.
Dodgers are up 3-0. Dodgers are winning this World Series, and it's not even going to be close. They're dominating.
Series, or are they going to win the World Series?
No, they're winning the World Series. Like they're gonna sweep everybody going forward. It's just not even going to be close. You see how dominant they are right now. Now it's Milwaukee. Milwaukee's faltering. Will Toronto or Seattle? Here's the other side of it. So Ohtani's on the mound today. They play again today. Game 4. They're up 3-0. Ohtani's on the mound for the Dodgers. As of last night, Milwaukee was like, yeah, we don't know this pitching.
Are they Diamondbacking us?
I think Milwaukee's like half our team's already over at Disneyland for the offseason coming up. But here's the interesting thing. Now, Toronto-Seattle tied 2-2 after last night. Toronto's come back in this game. Before I get into my thoughts on this here, I saw something last night that I love about baseball players. I love it when they do this. I love the feistiness of it. And I complain about it all the time about your Arizona Diamondbacks. Their manager comes out to take them out, and they go, okay, thank you. Here's the ball. See you later. I'm going to go inside. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for allowing me the moment to pitch. All right. If you say so, Coach. I'm going to go inside and get some orange slices. Maybe a Capri Sun. That's what we see from the Diamondbacks. Max Scherzer last night. He's starting to struggle, folks. Starting to struggle. His manager's coming out to talk to him. And he's like, nope, not today, Satan. I'm pretty sure that's what he said to his manager. Not today, Satan. I'm finishing this inning. And then I got the pitch he throws to finish the inning on top of it. Here we go. Max Scherzer last night.
Max sure doesn't think he's coming out there to say you get one more hitter. Scherzer's 1-2 pitch. Curve strikes him out.
Look at that passion.
Max Scherzer defying father time.
Look at that. Tori would have been like, no, you got to worry about how you feel tomorrow.
I know how you feel tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're old.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you're past your prime, and you got us this 5-1 lead. We're good. We're gonna bring in a bullpen that'll blow the game for us, and I can go to the microphones and tell everybody how we'll be better. It's okay. Good job out here. We don't want you to be great. That's how Tori would do it. The Blue Jays manager went, all right, here's the ball. Keep going, kid. I'll be inside. You let me know when you're done. I'll see you later. He's like, I just wondered, you want me to DoorDash some food in for you? You worked hard tonight. That's all I was coming out here for. Or the old Rick
you
Sutcliffe.
you thought I was gonna take you out? No, I just come out. Just going out here. I want to see what the view was like around here.
Those seats in there get a little rough if I sit on them too long, and my butt's a little sore. I need to get some blood flowing. So I just came out here to see how you're doing today. I just love that aspect of pitchers. We don't see it here enough in this town when he goes out and take these guys out of these games early. And I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't opposed to him possibly taking him out in that moment. But you saw the passion and the fire up, and Max Scherzer's earned the right to do that. And then they tied the series 2-2 now.
Well, and is that not part of that equation? Max Scherzer, that's not Toby Doobie or whatever, guy you just called up from AAA.
Well, I agree. Max Scherzer's earned that right. He's been that way his whole career, by the way, on top of that. But I mean, Zach Gallen's earned the right to do it. Merrill Kelly had earned the right to do it. I'd argue Ryan Nelson had earned the right to do it. Because Ryan Nelson was your best pitcher on your staff these last 2 years. And you just take him out of these games early. Oh, I know how they feel tomorrow. Remember that when Tori kept saying, oh, I know how he feels tomorrow. He's got a 52 pitch count because I know how he feels tomorrow. And then miraculously, as everybody was throwing a fit about it, and after like 3 weeks, finally Tori's like, oh, we're going to give him more pitches. Oh, what's the matter, Coach? I thought you knew how he felt the next day.
Yeah.
It's the culture. It's the want to win that you just don't see here in Diamondbacks land under Torey Lovullo or Hazen. Where's that fire on anybody on the Diamondbacks is my point. I mean, Marte might have it, right? Why did I laugh? I tried so hard to say it seriously.
No, you love to see that fiery disposition, that competitiveness part, and all that. But even you just said you would have been opposed to him taking him out.
I understood why he was doing it, but I'm also glad to see the pitcher stand up for himself and say, "I got this. I got enough. Let me finish this inning." That's important to pitchers. It's just when you just hand the ball over and go, all right, see you later. It's one thing if you know you don't got it, right? You're tired, you're exhausted. You're like, I don't know where this ball's going when I let go of it. I'm so exhausted out here. That's one thing.
Right.
But the competitor just sticks out on you. And I'm just saying, name somebody on the Diamondbacks that has that competitive nature. That's all I'm comparing.
Yeah, but you're also talking about a Hall of Fame pitcher.
What are you trying to say?
Hey, well, name a Diamondbacks pitcher who's even
I'm leaving that to Dale. Dale, Helly 7070 there, folks, for you Diamondbacks fans. From that side, here's the interesting thing about this series that I'm looking at right now. Even if the Dodgers don't close it out with Ohtani on the mound today, which I believe they are, I believe the Brewers are done. They're like, our season's over. We're in LA. We can start our vacations immediately. We can just hang out here, go to the beach tomorrow. I believe the Dodgers are going to win today with Ohtani on the mound, but we'll see. We'll see if not, it's ending tomorrow. The Dodgers have just dismantled the Brewers, and it's just not. The Brewers just are defeated going into this game. If not, it ends tomorrow. And by the way, if the Milwaukee does not win tonight, no baseball tomorrow, because that's the only game tomorrow as well. We don't see the AL till Sunday because it goes back to Toronto. Okay. But here's the interesting thing. Whether it ends today or tomorrow and the Dodgers win it, the other series is 2-2. Means at least 2 more games coming up. At least.
And
Dodgers are going to be able to set their lineup. Dodgers are going to get rested.
It's one of those things where, again, I know you picked Toronto. You were running scared with your tail between your legs after the first 2 games in Toronto.
Just like I called it, Dale.
Yeah.
Toronto all the way.
You know, it's just so reminiscent of I still can't get it over. Mid-'90s, the Suns go to Houston, win the first 2 games of Houston in the Western Conference Finals. Probably come home and lose 2, and then lose the series.
Yeah.
Can't do that, Steve.
Well, that's the problem. Toronto has the momentum going back home now.
Yes.
Interesting enough, though, no home team has won a game in that series. Toronto's going to have to break that in order to win this series. Can they do it? On top of that, kind of an interesting thing to happen. I do think for those 2 teams not being there before, I think maybe home field advantage is a disadvantage for these guys. It's overwhelming experience to be at home. A lot of distractions going to the game. A lot of attention to you at home. Whereas Toronto was being left alone on the road. They were like, oh, just show up to the game, be relaxed. Yeah, there's some more media here we have to talk to and stuff, but they don't have all the other people yelling at them and talking to them and trying to get stuff from them. But this is the problem. This is why I'm hoping I'm joking when I say Dodgers aren't losing another game in baseball. They're going to be able to set their lineup. You're going to come back. You're going to come back with Blake Snell, Yamamoto in game 1 and 2 of the World Series. They're pitching really well right now. It's just this is the Dodgers are going to be, now you could say if they're going to sit for too long, they might be rusty in game 1. But the Dodgers are setting this up so perfect that it doesn't matter what happens in the AL. Unfortunately, it's just disgusting, Dale. We need Milwaukee to just win 3 in a row. Come on, Milwaukee. Do it for the country.
Do it for the country.
Do it for America.
Oh, man.
So both series today coming up. One might be a closeout. One will obviously put one team up 3-2 as well. Maybe Saturday baseball if the Brewers can win tonight. If the Brewers can't win tonight, no baseball tomorrow, but we do get the ALCS coming up on Sunday at least. And good job, baseball. Way to put it up against football.
Well, when are you going to play the game, Steve? You're going to wait till next Tuesday?
Yeah, that's true, because Monday Night Football, too, huh? Well, maybe they're looking at it as it's Canada. They don't watch football up there.
Yeah, you're kind of screwed right now.
Well, they got hockey up there. By the way, you know what? What time is that game on Sunday? Let me look that up. I got it right here in front of me. 5:03 p.m. So it's only the It's I don't know what
are you
doing
jamming to, Steve?
That's Riley there. What's the Sunday Night Football game this week? It's a good one. So it's going up against that. Let's see here what it is. What we're looking at. Do 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 do. 2 more Monday Night Football games this week, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Falcons Niners. Yeah, I might be watching baseball instead of that.
If you're going to go up against a football game, that'd probably be a pretty good one.
Right? Everybody might be taking naps after that Commanders Cowboys 72-71 ball game we're going to see on Sunday.
Well, we got some tough games to pick.
There's some tough ones here coming up, so that we are looking at. So let's get into the college football side of things. So we had a lot of college games to pick this week.
We do.
Normally I do ranked games and then our home games, but there's a lot of ranked games with some serious. A lot of times ranked games are just kind of snoozers, like number 1 versus number 25, and we leave those off. But there's some really good ones here coming up this weekend, Dale, here. So, and then, of course, we'll lead into Arizona-Houston this weekend. Now, Arizona's going to Houston. That worries me a little bit. Houston's a decent team in the Big 12 this week and everything, and haven't played well this season. Now, they're probably, if I had to guess, Houston's probably at the same level Arizona is.
Yeah.
So you're going, they're not worse than Arizona, which Arizona would win that one. So how does Arizona play when they play an equal team? BYU might be fairly equal to Arizona. I'm not high on BYU. Yes, they're ranked, but I'm not high on them.
They're undefeated.
I understand that. It's also who you play, like Arizona on that side. But did Arizona step up, or was that more of an equal type team? And I don't mean equal as in I'm saying they're in the same tier, in the Big 12.
Well,
so did Arizona step up to it?
We talk about high school football. They're both 6 to 20 teams.
Yes. Yeah. I would put BYU and Arizona in the same tier.
Yeah.
I'd put Houston that tier as well.
Yep.
So we're going to see this week, and I expect it to be a close game. Houston's 5-1 on the season, and here's the other side. Houston comes here next Saturday.
Yeah.
5 p.m. kickoff on
so you
top
want
of it.
Arizona to beat them up?
Yes, go do some damage, baby. Go do some damage. 5-1, 2-1 in the Big 12 for Houston. I think this is going to be a fantastic game. Now, it's in Houston, which worries me a little bit. Like, if that game was at BYU last week, Arizona probably would have got stomped. It would have been more on that side. Then you had all the weather situation, et cetera, going on. This could be a fun little game here between Arizona and Houston. Does Arizona's offense able to put up the points? Is Arizona's defense able to stop Houston from scoring points here going to this game? Yeah, I'm torn on this one, to be honest with you. If we're picking, if we're talking about this game, I'm torn on this. Arizona has showed me enough that they can compete with this level of Big 12 and win the game. Can they do it on the road, though? I'm not so sure they can, and I'm torn. I have no idea who to pick. I'm leaning one way, though. Dale, your thoughts on this Arizona-Houston game?
Well, I agree with most everything you just said. I do believe that they're evenly matched. So then you'd think, then that would tilt towards the home team. If two teams are even,
that's what I'm leaning towards.
Whoever's got the home. Yeah. But Houston's crowd is not known to be raucous and loud and silent count.
What do they even play there?
I think they have their own stadium.
They do. They don't play at Energy Stadium or whatever it's called. Okay. That's how little I know of Houston, other than just seeing highlights.
Yeah, I don't think that they do play at the Texans arena, but you know what? I'm seeing a double dip.
Arizona is favored by 1.5. This is why I'm torn. You favor the home team in this situation normally, but then Arizona's favored by 1.5 points going into this game, and it's like, wow, maybe I'm not giving Arizona enough credit here, Dale.
Well, I have a doubt. You're not. Coop's not. A lot of people aren't. Give me my Wildcats. I'm double dipping this weekend, Steve.
I was leaning Houston the whole way. I was hoping you would convince me to go with Arizona. On the road, I just can't do it. I'm going to pick Houston in a close game. This is going down to the wire. And it's going to be who has the ball last, maybe, who makes the last mistake out there is going to lose this game going into it. I'm going to stick with my initial thought with the home team here, but I think this is going to be a fantastic game. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I hope Arizona does pull this out. I think it'd be a good story for Arizona to keep doing it. I'm just not a Brett Bannon fan, so I'd like him to stay at Arizona for the next 10 years. Number 10, LSU. It's 17, Vandy. LSU going to Vanderbilt this weekend. I have been on the Vandy bandwagon. I thought they'd beat Alabama, but that was at Alabama. They did beat South Carolina at South Carolina. There's something special about that makeshift stadium by the bay there and with the Big Ten school outside of Chicago there. Big Ten school outside of Nashville. Vanderbilt there. I like Vanderbilt's quarterback. Do I have the guts to pull the trigger on Vandy again? Dale, do I? I do, folks. Vandy's winning this game. Brian Kelly's going to tell us all about how he's going to start yelling at media people again after this game and everything. Vandy's winning this game at home against 10th-ranked LSU this weekend.
I think Brian Kelly in his post-game news conference is going to be talking like a Nashvilleian. Have that little twang, you know, he can kind of change his accent to
He's
see
going to come into country music blaring
yeah,
in the background.
cowboy boots, and it looked like Bum Phillips. There is no way the LSU Tigers are losing to Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Absolutely no way. Go Tigers.
By the way, 9 a.m. kickoff for that. Vandy's favored by 1.5 in this game.
11 o'clock there. Wow.
Yeah, that's early start time.
No, it might be noon.
Uh,
I don't know if Nashville's on East Coast time or Central.
Now that I've been there so many times, I think they're 2 hours away from us.
They are part of the year.
Yeah, and then I think the other part is 1 hour. They were never three. I'd remember that.
Are you sure?
No, I'm going off of years
I know
ago
you
being in Nashville. And there's so much has changed in Nashville that I don't even know. Maybe they changed their time zone too. I don't know. By the way, the Arizona-Houston, while Dale's looking that up, that's a 9 a.m. kickoff as well on Fox Sports 1. So Arizona fans have to get up early to watch that Houston game tomorrow. They're from Houston. By the way, they play in the TDECU Stadium, Tedesco Stadium. I hope they pronounce that and don't. Could you imagine saying that as a broadcaster every day? Coming to you live from the TDECU Stadium here in Houston, Texas.
When we were there 2 years ago, they were refurbishing that stadium.
Yeah.
They are, by the way, on the Central Daylight.
Okay, yeah. So 2 hours now, 1 hour in the regular time. So that's early. That's 11 a.m. kickoff.
Yeah.
I like Vandy even more there. Vandy's used to that. How many LSU kids are going to get caught at curfew? Brian, how many co-eds are Brian Kelly gonna hit on there and down there on Broadway on Friday night tonight?
Down at Luke Bryan's bar.
Exactly. Geez. Number 5, Ole Miss goes to number 9 ranked Georgia. I can't stand Lane Kiffin as a head coach. I can't stand a lot about Lane Kiffin as a coach. So that's where I'm coming from. I love Kirby Smart as a coach. I love what he's done at Georgia. I love him as a head coach all around. Georgia isn't as good as it has been in years past. Something about getting rid of your quarterback for a younger one, and then Carson Beck goes down to Miami's and having a good year. Sometimes you don't jettison the guy that gets you to where you want to go all the time for a younger kid out there. But I'm going to, begrudgingly, because I can't go with Lane Kiffin this weekend. I'm going to go with Georgia. I do think Ole Miss is going to win this game probably, but I'm going to pick Georgia with hopefully an upset coming up this week.
Well, I used to feel the same way about Lane Kiffin. He married a very pretty girl, then he screwed that up. I think he's tried to rehabilitate his image.
Yeah, except for he's still too tanned and he's all
don't be jealous because he looks good, Steve. Does that explain our relationship? Is that what it is? You go home, tell Autumn, but Dale's too tan, looks good in a Speedo. I don't like him. Is that really what happens?
It's all superficial.
Jeez,
let's start with that. All superficial with me, folks.
No, there was a time that I could not stand to even look at Lane Kiffin. He had one of those faces that you just want to punch. And
he still has that face.
He seems to be more quiet, a little more laid back.
He runs his mouth more in a comedic way now than before he was serious. Yeah. Now when he runs it, you kind of giggle, or kind of laugh when he says stuff. Well, because he does it in a funny mode as opposed to the serious.
He had a little bit of Jim Harbaugh in him.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good analysis.
And I heard somebody who was talking to Jim Harbaugh said, he said, boy, you've really gotten funny as you've got a little bit older and all that. And Jim goes, it's weird because when I try and be funny, nobody laughs. And when I'm not trying to be funny, everybody laughs. Well, Jim, you're weird.
Before you make your pick on this, I was floored by what I saw this morning when I looked up the odds on this game.
Okay.
And it didn't influence me. I'm going Georgia at home. That's a tough place to play. I think Lane Kiffin has a really good team this year. I think this is going to be a battle here. But I was floored that Georgia's a 7.5-point favorite. going into this game. Yeah. So just I don't know if that's going to influence you at all. But I agree. Lane Kiffin, he's a heck of a ball coach. I just don't think he connects with people properly. It's changing. You're right. I do like him. If this game was at Ole Miss, I'd be picking Ole Miss every day of the week. I just got to go Kirby Smart in Georgia. But I can't believe it's a 7.5-point favorite.
I've done games at Georgia and Athens.
Is that the one with the hedges?
Yeah. Yeah. You talk about a home field advantage. We're talking about Houston not having a home field advantage.
Yes.
Georgia's the complete opposite. They do have a great home field advantage. I just think that Ole Miss, for some reason, I think that they're maybe kind of like the ASU of last year, to where I think
I agree with
everybody's
you on that.
expecting them to trip up, or it's like, okay, well, this is the week. Yeah. Okay, well, this is the week.
I agree with you on that. I really do. Lane Kiffin has something special, and he'll have something special even if he loses this game. He's got something special this year.
So I will for those cases, I will take Ole Miss.
All right, perfect there. Tennessee is 11th ranked, 6th ranked Alabama. They go to Tuscaloosa.
All they do is play ranked teams in the SEC. Don't they ever get a week off, Steve?
Yeah, don't worry. They got Southern Missouri South Christian College coming up.
Week
Don't worry
after
about
week after week. Beat each other up.
Heupel offense is good at times, bad at other times. They always get tripped up throughout their time. I am just not a fan of DeBoer. However, he's winning this year. He's winning those games you thought he would trip up on and kind of getting his feet underneath him there at Alabama. He's not overwhelmed by being at Alabama now going into this. Because they're at home, I'm going Alabama. I'm not happy with this pick, but I'm going with Alabama because they're at home.
Well, since we're in the business of talking faces, Josh Heupel. I mean, he looks like
Say it cleanly.
He looks like a hillbilly.
He looks like the guy that you go to your buddy's house and his uncle's just sitting on the couch and doesn't talk to anybody in the corner.
In an old ripped white T-shirt.
That's what he looks like. Yeah, that's what he looks like. He just looks like that guy that's just there.
He's got more chins than I do.
He's the epitome of, you have a world-class weight room. Literally, you walk by it every day.
And world-class nutrition.
You can't just step in there one day and just get on that treadmill for a couple minutes. You're that busy.
And you're right. As far as having to go to Alabama, I've said it 1,000 times, but Kalen DeBoer obviously getting well compensated, but you don't want to be the guy replacing the guy.
Yeah.
And he's the guy replacing the guy.
I think he's getting comfortable.
And he's really taken a gigantic step this second year. Alabama's always going to get the talent. Give me the Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa.
6.5-point favorites, by the way, against Tennessee.
Sweet Home Alabama. Nothing like 105,000 people singing Sweet Home Alabama to start the fourth quarter.
Is that what they swing? Is that what they sing?
Yeah, between the third and fourth quarter.
I'm surprised they know. I'm surprised they can talk without teeth. Does it sound gummy? 20.
Also, I hear a voice in my ear, and I haven't heard it in 2 years.
Riley talks.
Take a shot.
Riley talks in our ears all the time. I know, Riley, we need to make a note here. We got to order that stuff in to get the microphone for the producers back there. 20th-ranked USC, 13th-ranked Notre Dame. This weekend, Notre Dame's 3-2 on the season. Now, they've lost to 2 highly ranked teams this year. I do think they're overranked in the AP poll, but they're going to have to prove it this weekend. Obviously, a long-time rivalry game here between these two schools coming into it this weekend. USC is surprising people this year. I cannot stand their head coach. He, to me, is just terrible. He ran from Oklahoma because he didn't want to go to the SEC, and now he's struggling in the Big Ten overall while he's there. I also don't think Notre Dame's all that. I have no idea who to pick in this one. This is a game where can they both lose? Because I literally have no idea. One of these teams is going to be a letdown game. And who's it going to be? Now, Notre Dame cannot afford to lose anymore because they obviously have playoff hopes. SC, they want to get to the playoffs, but, everybody knows what SC is this year. They're a step down in a tier. This means more to Notre Dame. It's at home against Notre Dame, which is where they tend to falter coming up as well. SC's a surprising 5-1 coming into this as well. Notre Dame is big favorites in this game as well. Here today, I just lost it. 9.5. Let me look at that. Notre Dame's 9.5-point favorites, Dale. 9.5-point favorites going into this game. I'm going to go Notre Dame because they're at home. I'm going to tell you guys, though, I'm really close to pulling the trigger on SC because of the two coaches. I think Notre Dame's going to falter in this game, and it won't be SC if that happens. But I am going to pick Notre Dame, but I'm going to be watching this because I will not be surprised if SC's in this game late and could possibly pull it out.
You know, it's one of those things. My boy Colin Cowherd's a big USC fan.
Yes,
he thinks that they finally got things going in the right direction there. I still think they're at least a year away. And just because they're playing in South Bend instead of Los Angeles, give me Notre Dame.
Yeah, if it was in LA, I'd be picking SC because Notre Dame would struggle there from that side. I'm just saying, pay attention to SC. There's a potential of an upset here coming that way. Then you got the Holy War. My favorite part about this is people get mad because people take this to another level on social media between these two schools, Utah and BYU. And then people are upset. And then it's like, you can't call it the Holy War and not expect people to lose their mind about it, right? If you know anything about the history of religions and their battles and stuff like that. 23-ranked Utah coming off of that dismantling of ASU last week. BYU obviously looking ahead over Arizona last week and squeaking out that win. Double overtime. Obviously looking ahead to Utah this weekend here. 15th-ranked BYU, 23-ranked Utah. This game, if you don't know about this rival, like you think the Territorial Cup matchup is a battle and a hated thing, this takes it to 6 different levels up there in that area between Salt Lake City and Provo, about an hour apart roughly from that side, both at the base of the mountains. Both beautiful campuses out there, Dale. It's at BYU this weekend. I'm going to go BYU. Utah is favored by 3.5, but I'm going to go BYU, and I'm going to go BYU because BYU's dirty at times, and I think BYU is going to be more dirty with Utah. I think because they're at home, the refs might let it go a little bit more. So I'm going to go BYU and a squeaker winning this game this weekend.
Well, BYU recruited me, unlike ASU.
Lavelle Edwards?
Lavelle Edwards.
How did you not go play for that guy?
Because I've told you, some of our listeners are new, haven't heard. Was being recruited by BYU amongst a couple other teams, and went up there for a national basketball tournament. I used to tip Copenhagen.
You're not doing that at BYU.
I couldn't find Copenhagen in Salt Lake City.
Well,
I'm sorry, in Provo.
Yeah, Provo.
In Provo.
Nope.
And then when I finally did, it was like 5 times the amount of money that it was here in Scottsdale to buy a tin.
Yep.
And it was old. I've never forgiven Provo, Utah. Ever. I took them off my recruiting list.
It's a different place, man.
I told Lavelle Edwards, you can take your Provo and non-tobacco use.
You could have gone 20 minutes down the road, Dale.
Out of here.
But you were not able to do that. You're not allowed to do that at all. So you have to sign that.
I'd have been kicked out.
Yeah, you have to sign that. I don't know how Jim McMahon made it.
Yeah.
I'm floored that Jim McMahon
He was just really, really, really good. And didn't get caught back in the 80s.
I would say he didn't get caught. That was the difference.
Because there are no filming and
no
phones.
He didn't get caught. There's a difference. He would have been subjected to it. But
today,
he'd have been caught. They wouldn't even have recruited him.
So for all those reasons, obviously, every one of them has to do with football.
And Dale. And Dale's
Give me
biases.
the Utes of Utah.
Because they didn't have Copenhagen. Yeah, up in Salt Lake. That's the thing. People think Salt Lake City, with what they talk about, Provo is that way. Salt Lake City's weird. Like you go into a Chili's and they don't just have a bar in a Chili's. You have to sit down and have food.
You can't order a double.
No.
A double drink, you have to order a regular drink with a sidecar.
If you go to a club, you have to be a member.
You have to pay $10 to join for the night.
Yeah, you fill out the form and you have to pay them to be a member. the weird rules up there in Salt Lake City compared to what we're used to and stuff like that. But Provo's exactly like you hear those stereotypes of Salt Lake City. That's Provo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I once was driving through Provo and we were staying there, and we had to check in on a Sunday, and I'm like, "Are we going to be able to check in? Is somebody going to be there?" But the town is a ghost town, of course. You're going Utah for the personal reasons of Copenhagen, huh?
Yep.
All right. Then, of course, we got 7th-ranked Texas Tech. We still don't know what their quarterback situation is. He's just day-to-day, Dale, coming into this game this weekend. Coming here, 1 p.m. kickoff. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be high 80s. Weather's going to be perfect. Texas Tech, Big Ten came out with a rule. Now, it's a home rule. They're no longer allowed to throw tortillas on the field. If you throw one tortilla on the field, it's a warning. A second tortilla hits the field, 15-yard penalty. Not going to come into play this weekend because kick them out if they throw them on the field now. Which brings me to my second point before I can move on. Don't you as a visiting team take tortillas and throw them on the field so the Texas Tech gets penalties?
I would think that I was just going to say that. I might make a trip down there just to toss a few tortillas.
And then you get kicked out, and then your buddy next to you starts throwing tortillas again. Now, 15-yard penalty, and then you do it until you get kicked out, right?
Yeah, I don't even want to be there, so kick me out.
I'm just here to throw tortillas. It's just an interesting rule, but they're still allowing those stupid cowbells in Mississippi State and dealing with that. But I digress. This is here in Tempe. Shouldn't be an issue down there at all. We don't know Texas Tech's quarterback situation. I did a Google search late last night on him, and it still said day-to-day. Now, is this gamesmanship? It was a lower field injury. I tend to think if you miss the whole second half of last week, it's a more serious injury than just tweaking it going into this week. Now, how does it heal? I questioned yesterday if this is going to be Texas Tech is going to look at this ASU game kind of like ASU looked at the Utah game, in my eyes. They're not going to admit they looked at it this way, but, hey, it's going to be a tough battle. Let's just get our quarterback right so he doesn't go in there and get more injured and then we lose him longer in the season. Is that going to happen this weekend, Dale? Is that a possibility this weekend that Texas Tech looks at it that? Because they can allow a misstep and then still get right back on the train again coming up.
I think that you are dreaming, Stevie. I think that you rolled over on the wrong way on the bed, and you say, well, the only way that ASU can win is if.
No, I'm not saying that's the only way. The only way ASU can win is if Sam Leavitt plays. That I will tell you.
Come on.
If Sam Leavitt doesn't play, they have 0.
Wow.
What's less than 0 chance to win this game?
0.0. Is that your GPA, Dobson?
I do believe Morton's going to miss this game for Texas Tech quarterback. Now, their backup quarterback played the second half last week. You know, he wasn't terrible. But I think what the interesting thing here is the physicality. ASU got beat up in that Utah game. They're missing some big-name guys. You know, Ben Coleman being out as a center is a big deal. Graduate center, been with this team forever. All of a sudden out here. New center coming in on top of it. This is going to be fascinating to see what the offensive line, how they play going to this game with the physicality. The Arizona State defensive line, they're pissed they got beat up last week. They're mad that they got beat up last week. Coach came in, they're more physical in practice this week. To me, it comes down to a fast start in this game. You cannot go down 14 points, 17 points to Texas Tech and think you're coming back in this game and winning. You just can't. You need a fast start in this game. Sam Leavitt coming back. I do believe he's going to play. I mean, that's all indications are. I do believe he's going to. Do you pull the trigger here and Arizona State upsets Texas Tech, Dale?
Well, I'm not. Hey, you're not halfway through the season, and you're going to say, we're going to start practice faster so we get out to faster starts in games. Doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
I don't think you can solve the problem that Arizona, including the red zone offense problem, I don't think you can solve that in the middle of a season.
It's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
If your boy Sam Leavitt does play, I think he's be a little limited. That freaking Texas Tech defense. You know, I've always thought, you think Texas Tech, you think air raid, you
Yeah.
think throw the ball all over.
This
Hey,
is the best front seven you're going to play.
you know, them scoring 50 and you scoring 51. And
Well, last time they played, it was like a 78-69 ball game or something ridiculous like that.
so, but that's not this Texas Tech team. Give me the Red Raiders.
I don't disagree. I mean, Red Raiders are coming in 7.5-point favorites. Now, like I said, we don't know technically on their quarterback. I'm willing to bet he sits out this game. But it's not because Texas Tech is doing what I'm accusing ASU of punting last week. I think Texas Tech feels they're going to come in, they're going to out-physical ASU. I think Texas Tech is coming in and feeling like they're going to out-speed. And I think they're feeling like they're going to outcoach this ASU coaching squad this week coming into here. And I think they have all the momentum. Now the question I got: can ASU keep this close? Is what I'm wondering here coming up. If you're after a slow start, you're going to get blown out in this game, and it's going to be ugly.
Oh, if they go down 17-0, Steve, you can get
If
home.
ASU is in this game by 3 or 7, and you got to score touchdowns, none of this field goal garbage because you can't score in the red zone. That's the key. Do you have faith ASU can do it? I don't. I haven't seen it all year. Why? You didn't even see it against NAU. That's why I'm picking Texas Tech to win this game. Also, and the question I just have is, which ASU team shows up? Is the crackdown this week? I'm going to call it a crackdown. Is that going to wake this team up? I personally feel, maybe they'll surprise me, but I personally feel you can't fix those problems in the middle of a season. That you started, whatever's happened with this team, you started that in spring ball. So spring ball, camp, first 6 weeks of the season, you can't all of a sudden go, oh, my God, we were too soft on these guys. We need to be harder on them. And then everybody goes, oh, yeah, coach, that's what we needed. We're playing better now. I just don't think it happens.
Okay, the other thing that jumped into my mind was because I liked Dillingham. I didn't like Buddy Ryan. I just hope, keep my fingers crossed, that somebody's got to go 5 and 6 kind of practice. I think that's up in Tonosona.
I think it was right before they left. It was right before
you left. That doesn't come to fruition. And
the question here is, if you lose this weekend, you've already lost some of your fan base because those guys that were just here because Big 12 championship playoffs, those guys have left. Those guys and gals have left. You lose to Texas Tech and you're 2 losses in the Big 12, you're going to see a bunch more people jumping off this bandwagon.
Yep.
I think Arizona State can win the rest of their games at Iowa State. And now it's at Iowa State. It's going to be tough. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. But if you win the rest of your games, that's a heck of a season. Just everybody's going to dog it because of the expectations you have. But, if you lose this game, it's going to be interesting to see how they react. Arizona State's players react to this.
Right.
Because there go your goals. You're not making the playoff. Because you're probably not going to get to the Big 12 championship game. Here's the other side of it. You win this game, you're probably playing Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship if you make it there. This is a bigger game for future looking at here coming up, right?
At least that'd be I don't know. I was going to say, at least that's at a neutral field. Issues played at home.
So we both have Texas Tech this weekend, and I think it's a bigger game. To the rest of the season, ASU goes out and loses this game. How are they playing? Do they start slow again? Still having red zone issues and that stuff. Because their games are winnable the rest of this year. You go out there and get slaughtered this week, this could snowball on this team the rest of the year. We'll just have to see what happens. That's more what I'm be paying attention to. And when we come back here, let's talk some Cardinals and NFL stuff. Get you set up for the weekend, folks. Let's go! And we're back here. Main events, also known as the Dale Hellestrae Show.
I didn't, it's sometimes as you get a little bit older, you kind of forget how good looking you were back in the day.
You looked a little chubby in that Cowboys outfit.
Well, it wasn't a Cowboys outfit.
that little outfit you had. Was that for Halloween that you wore that? When'd you wear that thing?
Oh, I didn't see the Cowboys one.
You didn't see him you didn't see you in uniform?
No.
Riley, do it again.
No, I just saw the SMU one.
Oh, that is true. Because you take your headphones off right away. You didn't catch that. There you go. Look at that.
Yeah, it's minus 20. I've got a couple layers on, Stevie.
There's the one right there.
Look at that.
Look at those arms. How fast you think you think you were running right there in that picture?
I used to run, moving my arms really quick, so it looked like I was moving.
Was
fast.
that? I'm assuming that was punt coverage.
It's kind of like if I'm going across a crosswalk and there's a car waiting for me, I'll get my hands moved a little bit so they go, oh, look at this nice guy.
Oh, that guy's trying so hard.
He's hurrying up.
Oh my God, it's Friday. Oh, everybody, making me cry out here and everything. Robert says, hey, don't be an ageist. Earlier when I was talking about old people there, never, Raj. Anyway, we're all, you guys are a little bit older than I am, but
yeah.
I'm up there, man.
No, I just finished playing when I was your age.
I know. Now look at you. Now you're sitting next to me.
What does my life come to?
Congratulations. So last week, we all watched that Cardinals game, and I just want to bring this up here and have a little discussion. Then we'll do our picks here and wrap up this Friday show here on the main event. And you guys can go watch the pit stop and tune into McCollum on Business at 11 and all that stuff. Subscribe to the YouTube page, subscribe to the podcast system, all of that stuff. We all watched Jacoby Brissett last week run this Cardinals offense different. Then I showed you, I did it on Tuesday, what Jonathan Gannon said in his press conference on Monday. They changed some things on the play calling and the offense, to fit Jacoby's style of quarterbacking. So we had all that information. Then Drew Penzing goes to the media this week and talks. And he's all just roses and, strawberry smells and sunshine. And he's just, everything's great here. Drew Penzing's press conferences are the most frustrating ones that I've watched, folks. It really is. But he says something specifically. He's asked, I left the questions in there. They're kind of hard to hear because there's no microphone. But he was asked specifically, does he think Kyler Murray could have done what Jacoby Brissett did last game? Before I even play his answer, Dale, do you think Kyler Murray could have played that game that Jacoby Brissett played last week?
No.
No, the answer is no, because why do we know that? Because Kyler Murray hasn't done it in a long time. Since Drew Penzing's been his head coach.
Yeah.
The answer is no. Well, Drew Penzing, on the other hand. Here's Drew answering these questions.
Not at all. Not at all. And honestly, I don't think that game looks drastically different if one or the other's in the game.
Do you think the same things that Jacoby had success with Kyler could have similar success?
Absolutely. And then there's going to be tweaks and changes. It's not, that like, hey, Jacoby did this, Kyler might do that. But I think from an overall standpoint, I think their skill sets are similar.
Their skill sets are similar. That's the first egregious thing he says. Completely different quarterbacks, folks.
Do you call him in if you're Jonathan Gannon and say, hey, are you watching the same thing I'm watching?
I get protecting your players. I do. I understand it. But you're just straight out looking us in the eyes and telling us the sky isn't blue. They do not have the same skill set. Jacoby can't run to save his life. Jacoby can throw it over the middle. Kyler cannot. Some say height, some say accuracy, whatever. Not even close to being the same skill set. And there's no way in hell anybody's going to believe you that if Kyler played last weekend, that game was going to look similar. What are we doing? Why are we doing this? I get protecting the players. You got, Kyler's great. Kyler would have done a good job. I get defending your player. But my God, there's ways to say it without making you look like a complete moron to everybody watching you.
And you're going to go out and support these guys.
Anybody want Packers tickets this weekend? Hit me up at SMAC 500.
Haven't you sold them already?
Well, I got my two. I got my two still.
Did you sell the other ones?
The other one sold, yeah. Not for as much as you'd think.
Really?
Yeah, I had to lower them down.
Well, they also have to take into account who they're sitting next to.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know. Yeah, if you want a couple Packers tickets, hit me up. I think I want to go watch. Even if the Cardinals won it, I don't know if I want to sit there. By the way, Jacoby Brissett's starting this weekend. I'm just going to tell you guys right now. They're being coy about it like they were last week. Pay attention to what's happening at practice. Kyler was limited than yesterday. He's out there throwing the ball around with the practice squad guys, not with the starters. Jacoby Brissett and Slovis were throwing the ball to the first stringers yesterday.
Well,
Jacoby's starting this week.
And again, if in fact there's any leftover or whatever with the foot injury, to me that's a smart play. We said that earlier in the week.
It's the right move. I want to see Jacoby play,
Yep.
and it's the right move with the bye week next week. It's the right move.
I mean, the only reason you don't play him, frankly, is because if Brissett comes out and throws for over 300 yards again and they're competitive.
If you're in this game late, you might not win it, but you're in this game late, you throw for 300 yards against a good Packers defense. I think they're ranked 8th, I think is what Lou said.
Then you've got 2 weeks of. Are you sure he's coming back?
Yeah, but they're going back to Kyler for that Cowboys game. I'll put money on it.
Make it a lot easier if Brissett doesn't play well.
Doesn't play well, right? So that's how I feel that game's going to go into this weekend. And now I get so infuriated with Drew Penzing just looking at us and being like, "Oh no, their skill set's identical." It worries me if he truly believes that. It worries me how much he knows about the game of football, if he truly believes that. And why say that? There's other ways to say you have confidence in both quarterbacks besides saying and lying to us, to our faces. Because it doesn't look good when you go, they have the same skill set. Because everybody that hears that goes, what? Michael Bidwell is probably like, what? Michael Bidwell's secretary was probably like, what? Michael Bidwell was probably yelling at the secretary, making her cry because she's pregnant. And he probably stopped yelling at her for a minute, and they both went, what? Rams and Jags coming up from overseas this weekend. Let's get out of that. Let's get out of me getting in trouble in that one.
I'll let you.
We'll get the notice from the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Please we don't understand what you're talking about right now. The lawsuits are still pending, and we're going to defend ourselves. Rams and Jags this weekend overseas. Interesting here. Rams are playing really well right now. But what's Puka's status going into this game? Then you're traveling across. They left L.A. and who they play last week? Baltimore. They went to the East Coast. They played that game. They stayed there, and then they flew over to London. They haven't been home in 2 weeks. And then you have those long plane flights between it as well. Does that mess with the Rams? You don't know Puka's status. And if he does play, how well he's going to be able to play. He's a big part of that Rams offense. The Jags are a really good team coming off a tough loss last week. They're used to these travel plans. They're used to being over there. They do it every year. I like the Jags in this game, Dale. I'm not confident in it, but I like the Jags in this game coming up this weekend.
Well, as you said, obviously they are used to the routine over there. They play a couple of games every year. It's kind of like a home away from home for them. I think that does help.
They're going to be the London team coming up here.
Because you know that they know how to adjust their bodies, things like that. Now,
do you put any while you're choking over there, do you put any prevalence into the Rams traveling to the East Coast, playing a game, and then going over there?
I think that obviously they're smarter than we are, but they knew about this back in the offseason. Yeah. So I think that's very smart. That will minimize the time constraints. It's probably only 6 hours difference from the East Coast.
Yeah.
But, boy, I like Jacksonville. I want Liam to win the Coach of the Year for the way he did the Bucks dirty.
I do think this is going to be a messy, ugly game, by the way.
And I like
6:30 kickoff.
And See, here's how far I've come. It used to be when kids had long hair, it used to bug me.
I hate Trevor. I hate Trevor Lawrence's hair. I've always hated Trevor Lawrence's hair.
And then I started looking back at pictures.
You had long hair.
I used to have good looking hair, and so now I'm like, hey, as long as you take care of it, enjoy it while you got it. Trevor might be freaking bald when he's 55.
Yeah, I had long hair when I was. My dad hated when I grew my hair down to my chin and stuff in the summertime and everything. Yeah.
But
now look at me.
So go ahead and give me the Jaguars.
All right, both doing that side of things. I just the question marks on the offensive side of the Rams is a big question mark. Also going to this game, Eagles at Vikings. To me, it feels like the distractions around the Eagles are worse this year, which means they're going to go win a Super Bowl. But on the other hand, last time they won a Super Bowl, they had a disastrous second year after that, right? They fell apart in that year. Same thing, distractions and all of that stuff. I'm not sold on the Vikings at all. I wasn't sold on the Vikings to start the season with JJ. He's out. I do not like their backup at all. I don't care how good of a coach you are. They have struggled at the quarterback position. They've won some games, though, in that spot, right? They're 3-2 on the season. I don't know. Do I go with the distracted Eagles that just are all over the place, and I don't know if they're focusing on football properly? Do you go with the Vikings and a quarterback you don't know at home? I'm going to begrudgingly go Eagles in this game, but I'm not going to be surprised if the Vikings don't win this thing.
Well, as I sit here and look at it, with all the negativity surrounding Philadelphia, and they're not as good as they were last year. They lost a couple defensive linemen, front fours.
I think the offensive line, the injury, and then the other retirement that they had, I think that's affecting them more than anything else.
I was going to say both lines of scrimmage are not nearly as good as they were last year, which obviously at what point are they going to say, we got to give the ball to Saquon Barkley 25 times and see what happens? I don't know if it's going to be this week.
I don't know why they haven't done that yet because Jalen Hurts is missing open receivers.
They got talent there. As you said, that there always seems to be some turmoil going on with the Eagles and that coaching staff and all that, but I do believe Philadelphia rights the ship. Remember, through all this nonsense, they're still leading the NFC at 4-2.
I know, but it's going to turn, and it's going to turn quickly one of these times. The question is, are we going to catch it properly? To me, it's more of having faith in the Eagles playing with the dysfunction than it is the Vikings right here going at home. And then off the bye week for the Vikings, too. Kind of worries me a little bit coming into it. Colts-Chargers this weekend at L.A. This is a fascinating game to me because I like Jim Harbaugh and I like the Chargers. They have a ton of injuries, though. I like them because they're at home here. Colts had to battle it out with the Cardinals last week. But I've watched several Colts games, and the game that impressed me the most was last week against the Cardinals for the Colts starting this season. The reason why? They showed that they can stay in a closer game. It's not all blowouts, and they showed that they can hammer it out. Their defense can battle it out on that side. I think the Colts go into Los Angeles this weekend, continue their tirade here, and they finish up 6-1. I got the Colts winning this game on the road.
I just echo everything you said. I've become a fan of Jim Harbaugh's coaching. I think the Chargers, if healthy, are a Super Bowl contender, but they're not healthy. I think they've you lose your starting left tackle, another offensive lineman went down,
your running back,
all those things, and the Colts. I think they look poised to be the 2025 darlings of the NFL.
Well, them and the Jaguars are battling it out in that division.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to say on the on the Colts is they played the most physical game last week in everything, and I think they're riding high on the momentum, but they're doing it quietly.
Yeah.
People aren't calling them the darling of the NFL. It's kind of like, when are the Colts going to fall sideways?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what amazes me from that perspective on the Colts side of things.
And the last thing I'll say about that, when you say quietly, I still remember being in Buffalo. Even by last year there, we went to the AFC Championship game. And we had a heck of a year. I don't know if we ever had more than 5 reporters in our locker room.
Yes.
The whole season.
Yeah.
Because we got off to a hot start, and 5. In Dallas, there were 25, 30, 35 reporters in the locker room every day.
Yeah, that I was gonna say that was just for you guys. You guys were just showing up and turning stuff in, and people were there yelling at you guys. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how that does it. I saw somebody say it's the ghost of Irsay. Irsay's leading. I was like, if Irsay had that power, he would have done it when he was alive. Who do you got in this game? Colts, Chargers.
Oh, I got Colts. Go Colts.
I don't think I think the Chargers still move on and either win the division or finish right behind the Chiefs. I just think this is a tough match. The other side of it is Chargers want to win a game 9-0 and they're happy. Well, can they boat race with the Colts? If the Colts get to 25, 30 points, I don't think the Chargers can keep up with them. I think that's the other side of it from that side. Then we got the Commanders at the Dallas Hellestrays. The Cowboys in this game. Folks, take the over. The over yesterday was 54.5. Take the over. They're scoring 70, 80 points in this game, which means it's going to be a 10-0 ball game. 10-3, something to that effect. Both of these defenses are god-awful. Both of these offenses can put up a lot of points. I expect a high-scoring affair here. Whoever has the ball last is probably going to win this game. At this point, do you have faith in the Commanders' offense? Do you have faith in Dak and the Cowboys? That's the question I got in this game.
Well, Dak's obviously putting together just a monster type of year.
And he's got a running game this year.
And the running game's helping him out. He's just playing well. He's fully recovered from his injury and all those things. Washington's is being without McLaren again.
Yes, I don't know what's going on with him.
It's
remember that in the offseason, he was like, "I'm going to sit out." They should have might as well just gone. Okay,
but they gave him a new contract.
You're going to miss a ton of games anyway,
and now he's hurt. So you know what? I am going to go with my beloved Dallas Cowboys, 48-45.
I think that's low. I think that's a low score, man. Both of these teams, the Cowboys averaged 29.7 points per game, third in the NFL.
Oh.
The Washington averages 26.3, seventh in the NFL.
Oh.
I mean, it's going to be a battle here in terms of who can get to the end zone the quickest in this battle. I'm torn in this game. I don't know. I'm going to go, just because you went Cowboys, I'm going to go Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. But this is going to be a fun, if you like offensive football, this is going to be a game you want to watch. From that perspective, Monday night, 2 Monday night games this week, overlapping, and I don't understand why. It's annoying. Bucks at Lions this week here coming up. I think the Bucks are overperforming what everybody thought they would do. A lot of people had Falcons winning this division. Not only do the Bucks, surprising people with where they are, why I don't know, but they also are looking really good on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. Lions coming off of last week's big game where they're going to be without Branch because he decided to pick a fight with the Chiefs after the game. He fell for the Chiefs' antics and did that. They're without him. Lions have other problems on that team. And I'm going to go Bucks in this game coming up here. The Lions are going to be physical at home and everything. I just think after last week, I think this is a letdown game for the Lions here.
I think that since it's in Detroit, I'm really liking Tampa Bay. I've become a huge Baker Mayfield fan. I'm cheering for him. I hope things go great for him. I just don't think they get it done up in Detroit this week. Give me the Lions.
Ye of little faith. Then we got the Packers at Cardinals. Dan, we already talked about it. I told you guys Jacoby's going to be starting in this game. I'd be shocked if he doesn't in this game. By the way, Ravens have a bye week this week. How bad do they lose? How many points do they not put up this week? Seriously. Do they find an end zone this week? But Packers, Cardinals. Jacoby's going to start. I think this is going to be a closer game than you think it's going to be. Here's the reason why. Packers score a lot of points early in a football game. Then they let the other team come back. Cardinals tend to start these games slow.
And then let people come.
And they let people come back. Or they start fast, they let people come back. So if the Cardinals can keep this close in the first half and do everything, they have a chance to win this game in the second half. But I don't think the Cardinals are in the spot this year where they win close games. I think it's after losing 4 close games now, I think it's an issue for the Cardinals' psyche. I think it's an issue going forward. And until they do it, I can't pick them to do it. I think this is going to be a closer game than people think it's going to be. It's going to be a Packers home game, folks. cue the everybody complaining about the crowd after the game and all that stuff. Packers are going to win this game, but it's going to be closer than you think it is. With Jacoby starting. If Kyler starts, it's a blowout.
Give me the Packers. Appease all those cheeseheads so they come back next year.
By the way, the reason, and it's not going to be a blowout, but in all honesty, I think this is a bad matchup for Kyler. He will run into a defense that has a lot of speed. Whereas Jacoby's just going to sit in that pocket and hurl the ball around. That's going to be the problem if Kyler doesn't in this
if
game.
Marvin Harrison doesn't play.
That's the problem. Zay Jones' knee.
Yeah.
There's a lot of question marks on the Cardinals' offensive side. So, Dale, let's wrap this up. Say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye.
We'll see y'all on Monday, folks. Have a great weekend. McCollum on Business up next. Catch the pit stop as well. The Real Matrix is up as well. Like, subscribe to the YouTube page. Of course, free podcast system. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.